Hey, welcome to Sing and Cook on Sanjeev Kapoor's Khazana, and my name is Harpal. I've got a special request from people. No, I keep getting requests from people on YouTube that how do I teach so well on YouTube. With those requests, I've got a new friend come from Singapore to learn Indian food. Marit, welcome to my show.
Thank you very much.
On YouTube. Today I'm going to show you some Indian food. What do you think about Indian food?
It's delicious.
It's delicious. You know what most people tell me? The moment they hear Indian food, they are frightened about the kind of spices that we use and they feel it's too complicated. I'm going to just simplify for you some dishes that I'm going to share with you. You can try back when you go to Singapore for your family. So today with Marit, I'm going to show you some lamb patties or Shami Kebabs as we call them in India. Let me begin the lamb patties for you. Very simple. Some oil. While the oil is heating up, let me just chop some chilies. Now, if you were to use green chilies, Marit, what do, to make it less spicier? Let me tell you a trick. Most people are a little afraid. Just remove this center part, remove the seeds, and the spice is almost gone. That's how we use. Actually, all over the world, Indian food is little, I would say, abused, the way, because everybody thinks that Indian food means spices, spices, spices. But as professional chefs, let me tell you that we don't use spices to kill the product. And not all the food is spicy in India. Not all the food. And it can be controlled to your liking. If you want more spicier, you add red chilies or green chilies more as shown in the recipe. But if you like it less spicier, use less of the red chilies. So let me chop them roughly here. Green chilies, my oil is ready. Let me add some ginger and garlic paste to this. Easier, because if you were to chop them, it would have been better, but paste is easier. Getting hot.
It smells very good.
Yes, it does. Spluttering. So what I've got for you is, Marat, is that, this is the powder of this lentil.
Yeah.
So to make it more simpler, let me use this for you.
Okay.
So that it becomes easier for you when you go and buy. Otherwise, using the dal, the lentil, is a little complex. So the same thing. Now this is something which is puffed and then ground.
Yeah.
So this powder is used for making chapatis or coating or many things, or binding kebabs while you marinate them or bind them, right? So I'll use basin here for you to simplify the things. My garlic is now almost ready. Oh, let's take it off. Let me add the mince here. The chilies, yeah. Some red chili powder. Don't be afraid if it is a lot. It's not spicy. Okay. We'll cook until it is done. Let me add some salt in here. You all use hands. Corrective action. So salt as much as you require. Abroad or in the West or in the other parts of the world, people think that in India we use a little more salty food. Let me share that. Why do we do that? Because we are kind of a tropical climate. A lot of years before, we never had that kind of an advancement in our country where food was made and stored in refrigerators. So in all those years, for food to survive in normal temperatures, you normally had more oil and more salt. As we graduated and we evolved, we had refrigerators, but still, I think most of the chefs did not take it to that level where we said that, okay, the food also has to evolve, less oil, less salt, go in the refrigerator, stay for some time. So that's what we all new age chefs are trying to do. So the mutton is getting cooked. I want the mutton to dry up. Otherwise, when you make the patties, you will not, yes, it will be too wet, and while you fry them or shallow fry them, they'll all crumble. And also with regards to the flavoring spices, the garam masala and the green cardamom powder that I told you, we add it in the last so that the flavor loss is minimal. And if you were to use whole spices, we add it in the first so that they get infused in the oil, and then the gravies and all the spices are infused in it to get flavors. So that's quite a tricky thing for everybody to understand. Yes, as most people, when they take a bite, you'll have a cardamom and spoil the flavor. So we try and strain the gravies also. Let it get dried, not completely, but dried to an extent where the kebab still remains moist. That's actually the challenge. For every kebab to be moist is the quality of a good cook or a good chef. So looks like good enough now. So let me add the gram flour to this, the basin actually. Yeah. So now you see the water is kind of absorbed. Yeah. So what we'll do is, to this we'll add some fresh coriander and mint. We'll not chop it because I'm going to mince the whole thing. So some mint in this. This much should be enough. And some fresh coriander. You get fresh coriander, Marat, in Singapore? You do, yeah? Yeah, I think you get almost everything in Singapore, A lot of Indians, I believe, in Singapore. Yeah? Yes. Yeah. So, the fresh coriander. I've got some brown onions here. These are onions that are fried in oil, brown, and kept ready. So, brown onions going into this. But I believe you must be getting the same in Singapore also. Mix the whole thing up. Smells good now. Yeah, the mint, coriander, onions going into my kebabs. Yeah. Now, I'm going to close this off. Not yet ready. The flavoring, green cardamom powder, just a pinch of the cardamom powder, and around 1/4 teaspoon of the whole garam masala powder. Now you see the flavors, good flavors that you see, smell of the good flavors. Now that's about Indian food. So what am I going to do with this? This is ready. This, we're going to mince it further to make it to a paste.
Okay.
So the paste is like a pate paste. And I've got this good looking blender here. In goes the mutton. So all the mince, fresh coriander, brown onions will all get mixed properly in this. So our mixture is finally ready. Yeah, now it looks good. Nice and moist, as you see in this. As I do not want my Shami Kebabs, to be dry. Normally when you have these kebabs mostly all around the country, the problem always with most of the people is that the kebabs are generally dry. I don't like them dry. I like them nice and moist. What do we do here is, Bharat, is let me have this, one of the eggs, break one of these eggs, beat them with a knife. What do? Don't find a fork, use the knife.
Don't do this at home.
Yes, so I've got this egg. Now, Shami Kebabs in India, Marat, these patties that I'm going to make, the goat mince patties, they are generally in India either deep fried or coated with egg and fried, shallow fried. So this is something typically recipe which we have inherited from Mughals. So the Nizams of Hyderabad or the Mughals ruling in Delhi or in Lucknow, they used to use this, and they always had this done coated with eggs. So with eggs, it further softens. It's nice and soft. When you deep fry, you lose the moisture and it becomes hard. Some people like it deep fried. I like it coated with egg. So let me pour some oil. Deep frying, more oil. Shallow frying, less oil. Now this is what we call less oil in India. So, while let me just dab my hands with the flour and make this patties in a plate. This before I dip them in egg and use as patties. Let's make 5-6 of them. What I have is the patties. Now in India, patties are generally flat like this. So what we do is make a flat patty like this, okay, and dip this in egg and gives a nice coating. Shallow fry the Shami Kebabs, as we call them in India. This is a nice way of doing Shami Kebabs.
It's very nice.
Yes, it is. It is. Tastes awesome also.
I'm sure about that.
Yeah, I'm sure about that. Sure. Now,
I
when
know what's in it now.
yeah. So how do you find them? Was it complex? Was it complicated? Simple?
No,
It is simple.
It is simple.
It is simple. As I shared with you that most cooks and professional chefs across the world who have moved out of India, they generally show the cuisine which is complex. These are almost ready here. Let's turn them around, get a nice color, see? And they're nicely browned also, yes. So, this is a typical way of making Shami Kebabs. So, this is not normally seen across in the country, but if I were to make and show what good Indian food is all about, so that when you go back, you experience that, okay, you have seen something which is good Indian food, along with Sanjeev Kapoor, that we try to simplify the food to an extent that more homes across the world make the food. Only then it becomes popular, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah, when it's easier, you intend trying out at least once. Yeah. Let me arrange them for you, nice and soft. Shami Kebabs. Garnish with a mint. That's for you, Mar.
Thank you very much.
Simple Shami Kebabs.